There are a lot of different approaches that we could use to get inside using text for understanding what's going on. Let's just limit ourselves to preparing for using. There are many different ways in which we can prepare ourselves to use text in a SenseMaker project to make the best use of all those wonderful stories that people share. We know that these have been interpreted at source, which is going to make our life a whole lot easier. But the text that they use still has some particular qualities that we need to understand if we're going to make the best use of them at scale. So we can look at Wikipedia just as a starting point to get a bit of a grip on text and just appreciate that it can span a whole range of topics. And then we can move to the concept of a word. Now, this is a useful level to be looking at text because it's a single unit that people can easily recognize, and you can string together a few words and understand, get a bit of a grip on what somebody's saying and meaning. Not all words are understood the same way by many people, which is a topic we're going to take on in some detail later. But we can look at the sentence. And again, it's a sort of unit of length that we could probably work with. Somebody tells a story that's going to be maybe 2 or 3 sentences long. And we can look at paragraphs. Here we have not every language uses text in the same format, and this is also true of sentences. And we can use grammar. Now we're starting to use grammar and how words are strung together. Now let's think about narrative and the difference between narrative and story. A story is something that happens in a sequence from A to B. Narrative is the retelling of the story from A to B, and it may not be done in the same sequence. So we've got our ideas a little bit topsy-turvy. Not a problem if we're using just words as our level of analysis, but if you're using sentences and whole paragraphs and wanting to make sense of things that way, then you may actually need to be starting to pay attention to some of what's called the syntax. But narrative is something that's quite unique. We can look at linguistics. This is the study of language. We can look at cognitive linguistics, where we're trying to understand how the human brain actually processes language to make meaning. We can attempt to make maps.